All right, news coming in from Afghanistan, where yet another visual and another video has surfaced in which you can see the effigy of a Taliban leader there being set on fire by a woman who's angry and anguished over the fact that women will no longer be allowed to work at non-governmental organizations. In fact, not just this, Taliban's Diktat has also said, the Diktat by the Taliban also says that women will no longer be allowed to pursue higher education in the country. So regressive diktats there coming in from the Taliban that has drawn criticism from across that has drawn criticism from several countries, including the US, the France, India and the United Nations for that matter as well. There you see in another such video that has surfaced in which a woman is seen setting that effigy of Taliban leader on fire. In fact, the woman who's angry and anguished says that I set fire to ignorance, but it is still alive and breathing. I'm a girl from Afghanistan and I want the world to hear me. This girl, of course, who's seen setting the effigy on fire is one of those several voices of women who have been coming out to streets protesting against the Taliban over those regressive diktats that are being given out. The latest one, of course, being that women will no longer be allowed to pursue higher education in the country, as well as the one that women will no longer be allowed to work at non-governmental organizations in the country. We'll try and get a few voices as well, but remember the United Nations has come out strongly over this regressive diktat from the of the Taliban, saying that the world needs to come together to send out a strong message, and the need of the hour is that Taliban needs to be called out for those regressive diktats that are being put out by the Taliban leaders. In fact, the visuals there that we are putting on our screens is of those male students who also came out in solidarity with the women who've no longer been allowed, who are no longer allowed to pursue higher education in the country. So the visual there on your screens that shows the regressive diktat of the Taliban, and of course the massive the anger there, which is quite palpable in Afghanistan. The women there taking to streets. In fact, one of those women who's also seen burning, setting on fire that effigy of the Taliban. So of course, lot of pain, lot of anguish, and clearly a lot of anger amongst the women who will no longer be allowed to pursue higher education, will no longer be allowed to work at non-governmental organizations in Afghanistan. In fact, the visuals there on your screens that shows how the youth are also on the streets in Kandahar, who are there out in solidarity with those women who will no longer be allowed to pursue higher education in Afghanistan. Remember, the foreign minister of France has also put out a statement saying that the need of the hour is for the world to react strongly to these regressive norms. We have Raja Lakshmi Joshi, activist, joining us. Ma'am, if I can get your thoughts on this, we can see there is, of course, massive anger, which is quite palpable from the visuals we are putting out. These women out there who are saying that how their voices are being snubbed and how they are not being allowed to do what they would want to do.
Sure. And, my complete and full support to all these women, all these bright and intelligent females who are, all so eager to get out and go and get an education. And even the men, let me tell you that, it is not just the women there who are actually protesting. I am so happy to see that all these men are also supporting them, all these young people. They are actually saying that, we will not go out there and only get an education for ourselves. So the men are also saying that no, the women need to get an education, they need to be given the freedom to get educated. So, this is a very heartening scene to see that the people are out there protesting against it, not just the women. So, it has been almost 460 days since the young girls had been stopped being given an education in schools. And it is now just recently that the universities were shut down. But, I wish that, even more of an international voice or more of these Muslim countries also would have come out and protested against them, because this needs to be called out against in very strong ways, very strong terms, and this needs to absolutely be stopped immediately.
Well,
These girls
absolutely.
these girls need all our support, and every one of us women is with them. And the effigy that they're burning, I really wish that all these kind of negative thoughts, all these kind of binding forces, they definitely be burned to ash, all of them.
Well, definitely. Thank you for speaking to us. So, Raja Lakshmi Joshi there expressing her thoughts, and of course these visuals that we are putting on our screens that speak 1,000 words of the kind of situation that is unfolding in Afghanistan. In fact, these visuals in which you can see how these effigies are being burned of the Taliban leaders, it's not just one woman or two. There are several such hundreds and thousands of women who are out there on the streets, protesting on the streets of several such cities, including Kabul, Herat, Kandahar. In fact, the male students as well who have now come out expressing solidarity with those women whose voices seem to have been completely suppressed.